In the days that followed, a group of survivors who had managed to escape the initial chaos sought refuge in the underground tunnels that ran beneath the city. These tunnels, originally constructed for various utilities, would now become their last hope for survival. Day 35. The survivors, led by a former military officer named Colonel Mitchell, were determined to reclaim their city. Armed with a small cache of weapons and supplies, they began scouting missions to assess the situation on the surface. They discovered that not all hope was lost. Pockets of humanity still existed. A few survivors had managed to barricade themselves in the Kansas City Art Institute, and others had fortified themselves in the old Union Station. Day 42. Colonel Mitchell's group reached out to these survivors using a hidden radio signal. After several tense conversations, they agreed to unite against the growing zombie threat. Together, they formed a plan to retake the city. They would need more people, supplies, and a strategy to deal with the undead. Day 50. Assembling a coalition of survivors from different parts of the city, they developed a two-pronged approach. One group focused on rescuing survivors from different neighborhoods and bringing them to a secure location. The other group concentrated on clearing out the immediate vicinity around Union Station, which would serve as their base of operations. Day 63. The survivors in the underground tunnels were finally ready to launch their operation. The skies were dark and overcast, providing some cover as they moved stealthily through the city streets. They used traps and diversions to draw the zombies away from their targets. Day 70. As they gradually pushed back the undead, they encountered unexpected resistance. A group of survivors who had gone mad in the chaos of the apocalypse had become ruthless marauders. They fiercely defended the resources they had hoarded. A brutal confrontation erupted, leaving some of Colonel Mitchell's team injured. Day 77. With Union Station secured and more survivors joining their cause, the coalition began reclaiming neighborhoods. Slowly, they pushed the zombies back, street by street, reclaiming territory once lost. It was a brutal and relentless war, and many sacrifices were made. Day 90. The survivors were finally making progress. They had turned the tide, and the undead hordes were dwindling. Hope flickered like a candle in the darkness as the city began to regain a semblance of order. Day 100. The survivors had come a long way since the initial outbreak. Kansas City, once a desolate wasteland, was slowly being reclaimed. While the city would never be the same, those who had endured the horrors had learned the value of cooperation, resilience, and the importance of protecting their humanity in the face of monstrous threats. The horrifying zombie apocalypse in Kansas City had shown that even in the face of the most nightmarish scenarios, the human spirit could endure, adapt, and rebuild, no matter how grim the world had become.